These here are three of my favorite sling bags to date. We have the Bellroy Venture Sling 6-liter, we have the Orbitkey Urban Sling Plus 6-liter, as well as the Toshi Sling 5-liter. Now, these sling bags I use on an everyday basis, whether I'm carrying a small camera around or my power bank and things like that. And in this video, I'm gonna be telling you about what I didn't like about the bags and what I did like about each one of them. I'll do a pack out with the same standard set of items so that you can see how it fits into this bag, or this bag. And I also do a camera fit guide showing you how different cameras will fit into different bags. And hopefully by the end of this video, it'll help you decide which one is gonna be right for you. Full disclosure, I purchased all three of these bags by myself, so none of them were given to me, so I don't have an affiliation with any of them. No one's asked me to make this video. This is just based on my own accord. And for sizing reference, I am 5'8" in height and about 182 pounds. So right now on screen, you can kind of see how each one of the bags look like on me. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm Desy Cheng. I post 1 to 2 times per week, and I primarily focus on bags and gear related to travel, EDC everyday carry, as well as photography. First, let's start off with the basic specs. The Bellroy Venture Sling 6-liter retails for $129 US. The Orbitkey Urban Sling Plus retails for $110 US. And finally, the Toshi Sling 5-liter retails for $89 US. On their own manufacturer spec sheet, this is listed as 6 liters, 6 liters, and 5 liters. However, when you are kind of comparing the size differences, the Orbitkey Urban Sling Plus is actually significantly larger than the Bellroy. It's taller, it's wider, it's thicker. There's just more to it than this one. So I feel like this one is closer to a 4 or 5 liter. And when I'm actually comparing it versus the 5-liter Toshi Sling, the Bellroy is actually the smallest out of the three. In terms of weight, the Bellroy Venture Sling is the lightest at 345 grams. The next up is actually the Toshi Sling at 350 grams. And the heaviest is the Orbitkey, which is 440 grams. Okay, so first off, I want to talk about the strap. The best strap between these three is definitely the Bellroy Venture Sling. And there's a couple reasons. So the first reason is that you can actually make adjustments from the left side or the right side, which is great because you don't need to switch the strap around or anything. But even if you did, there's actually a buckle to open up the clasp, and so you can actually open it from the left side or the right side, and that's great. And it's very, very minimalistic clasp. It's not too big, it's not too heavy. I just really, really like how easy it is to adjust it, to switch it around, whether you're left shoulder or right shoulder carry, it really doesn't matter. This strap is just so lightweight, sleek, and it just works. Now, the second place, I would have to say, would be the Toshi Sling strap. Now, unfortunately, it just opens up from one end, but that's okay though, because the strap is actually removable, and you can actually change the strap around, so you can have it on this side or that side. And the other cool thing about the Toshi Sling is that you can actually attach the strap to the top, so you can, carry it more like a messenger bag, or you can actually have it like offset, so one strap would be connected on the side and one would be at the top. It's kind of completely up to you. So I really like the versatility of this one. And the bag with the worst strap is the Orbitkey. It just doesn't really work because the strap is fixed. There's only a buckle on one side, and just to make adjustments, whether to loosen it or tighten it, it's just not ideal, and it's just more finicky and difficult. And also, this bag was meant to wear only specifically on your left shoulder. But for people who wear it on their right shoulder, it's gonna be even more difficult for you to adjust it and make it loosen it or tighten it. It's just not ideal at all. But these two bags are fine. The next feature I want to highlight out of all these three bags is that the Orbitkey is the only one with a top grab handle. Now, it's not the best grab handle, it's a little bit thin, but at least they have one. Having a top grab handle is better than no grab handle, and these bags would have benefited if they just had a small, tiny little grab handle. I would have enjoyed that, but I don't. Now let's talk about external carry. So like, let's say your bag is full and you want to carry other things like an umbrella or a jacket. The Toshi Sling is the only one that can do that, because at the bottom it actually has some stowable straps that you can deploy, and it will just kind of connect to the bottom little connectors right here. And then you can actually, you know, hold an umbrella at the bottom. You can put a jacket, a shirt, pants, whatever else you want on the bottom, and that is a cool little neat little feature. The next feature, not sure if it really matters. I mean, it doesn't really matter for me too much because I don't find myself in downpour scenarios, or even if I am outside and it's pouring rain, I won't be out for that long. But the Orbitkey as well as the Bellroy feature waterproof zippers. So that's kind of one feature that I just wanted to kind of note. Now the next big one is organization. Which one wins? The Orbitkey Urban Sling Plus is definitely the best in terms of organization because it does have 1, 2, 3 large compartments. And in terms of internal dividers or internal pockets, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's got 3 large and 9 small pockets inside for organization. Now, second place, I'm actually gonna look over here at the Toshi Sling. In terms of large external pockets, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 4 large external pockets. And then in terms of the internal organization, it has, none in here, but it's got, oh yeah, it's just got a bunch of junk in here, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, is that 5? Yeah, just so it's got 5 small pockets. It's got 4 large, 5 small pockets. And then lastly, let's go over to the Bellroy. The Bellroy has 2 large ones. It's got 1 at the front and 1 in the main area. And in terms of small organization, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got 2 large and 6 small organizational things. So in terms of the organizational components, and if you've got a lot of stuff, the Orbitkey is going to be the clear winner. Next up, let's talk about cameras. So not everyone carries a camera, but I do, and it actually makes a difference in my life. So for me, the only one that's actually got a padded bottom is the Bellroy Venture Sling. It's not meant for a camera, but you can put camera or other electronics and you can stash it in there. So that's one great feature that the Bellroy has that these two do not. However, what I did with like the this thing, so I just had one of my camera dividers from padded dividers from one of my bags, and I just kind of put it at the bottom of the bag. So you can do this with this bag or pretty much any other bag, and then your camera will be relatively a little bit safer. It's not ideal, it's a little bit messier, but yeah, that is the alternative option. And then the last note I wanted to say is if you guys had a larger device, such as a Nintendo Switch, the two that are going to accommodate it the best are going to be these 2 bags. And the reason for this is because, yeah, you might be able to slot it in there, but because if you have your Nintendo Switch in here, then it's just gonna be in here with all of your other items and it's gonna get scratched. Whereas these 2 bags, they actually have divided sections. So for example, you could put your Switch in the back of the Orbitkey right here, or you can have your Switch in here and you can still have tons of space for your other small accessories right here. Or for the Toshi Sling, it actually has a sleeve at the back right here for you to put your Nintendo Switch in there, and then you can put your other items in here and also in the front right here. So yeah, if you have a Nintendo Switch or something similar to that, these 2 bags, the Orbitkey as well as the Toshi Sling, are going to be the better options. One other feature I want to talk about the Bellroy, which I actually do love, and I wish that more bags had this, was that it has this side stash pocket. So now when you put stuff into any bag, a lot of the stuff just kind of, falls to kind of like the middle area, and the sides are always wasted space. But I really, really like this stretchy pocket. They have this on either side, and this would be a great spot if you wanted to put AirPods or any kind of small items like that would be a great fit for that. This one is stretchy, so this one actually accommodates a water bottle. So you can actually put a water bottle standing straight up in here and then zip it up so the water bottle is up, standing up vertically. So that's one cool feature about the Bellroy that Bellroy has that these 2 do not. Okay, so now I will do a pack out with stuff that I would probably bring on an everyday basis or on a carry-on plane. And so let's start off with the front zipper right here. I just got some pills right here. I do have a set of hardwired headphones if I want to plug into the airplane. I also have my keys attached to the key leash right here. I'll unclip that. And that's pretty much all I have in the front zippered pocket. Now moving on to the main pocket. Main pocket, I got a bunch of other things here. So starting at the top right here, I do have my sunglasses right here. I do have my Fujifilm X106 camera. I have a boarding pass. I got some wet wipes. In this stash pocket off to the side, I do have my AirPods. And then I also have an EDC FlexTail flashlight. I have a power bank. I got 2 iPhone charging cables. I do have a pen. One stupid thing with a pen pocket is that it kind of sticks out. So you kind of have to, like, you really got to stretch that zipper over top of it. And then just have my passport just into the middle right here. And that's pretty much it. And that's, you know, how I have packed it out into the Bellroy Venture Sling. Next, with the same items I just had in the Bellroy, I've packed out my Orbitkey. And so in the front zipper right here, I have pretty much most of those accessories just in this front little zipper pocket. We'll turn it this way. We got my little pen right here, right there, sunglasses pocket. And then I have my headphones. I got my 2 iPhone cables. I got my keys. One thing the Orbitkey does not have, it does not come with a key leash. So it just has this little hook. So you just have to make sure that your keys have some kind of carabiner type thing to attach it to. I have my flashlight, my AirPods, my pills, and that's pretty much it for the front compartment right here. And now let's open up that main zippered area. So in my main zipper compartment, look how much space is left in here. So I have my Fujifilm X106, and there was still room for me to put maybe a DJI Osmo Pocket, maybe a pair of gloves or a toque, and maybe another power bank. I only use one of the pockets, so here's my power bank right here. But there's just so much room in this main compartment. And now moving on to the back compartment, right here, I have now I didn't even utilize my 2 other pockets, but if I was carrying my family's passports, that would have been good to kind of keep them all organized. So right now I just have my 1 passport right there. I have my boarding pass and also some wet wipes. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention earlier in this video, it does have a cable pass through. So if I did have my power bank here or power bank in there, I could pass through the cable through the main compartment and charge it elsewhere. I'm not sure how practical or useful that is, but some people might like that. And lastly, we have the Toshi Sling bag right here. So we'll just start off, actually I'll show you the main compartment first, just to show you how I have everything all organized. But yeah, I just have my Fujifilm X106 in there. I got my iPhone cables loosely in there. I have that foam padding at the very bottom. I have my flashlight. I got my power bank. These 2 pockets I did not use just because my camera was there, so I didn't really utilize that. And in this kind of sleeve, I do have my wet wipes as well as my boarding pass. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the main compartment. And then moving on to the back right here, I just have my passport slotted right in there. And then at the top, I do have my sunglasses right here. And also in this front zippered pocket. Now I wish there was more organizational elements in this pocket, but I just have my headphones, my pills, my AirPods, and also my keys that are just right here. Oh yeah, and then also my pen. And the one thing about the key leash is actually you can detach this and you can actually attach it into the main compartment, which has got a slot right there, or you can attach it to the back. I think there's another spot. So you can actually take that little key leash and put it into in any one of those 3 main compartments. So next up, we'll do a camera fit guide, starting off with the Bellroy Venture Sling. I've already kind of showed you the Fujifilm X106, but I'll kind of show it to you again. this is kind of what it looks like just putting in the Fujifilm camera. So you still got room for lots of other items. And now moving along, let's go to the Fujifilm X-T5 with the 18-55 lens, and that will fit in there nicely. And this is kind of like how much room you have. You can totally just kind of move it over to the one side and still fit a bunch of stuff over here. So that's what that looks like. Next up, we have the Sony ZV-E1 with the 24mm lens. So this is kind of like the Sony a7C II or a7CR. But yeah, tons of space. You can kind of put it that way or put it that way. But yeah, lots of space within this bag for this camera setup. Next up, we'll do the Nikon ZF for all you Nikon shooters out there. Will this fit? Yes, it definitely will. It just kind of fits right in there, and you still, again, got lots of room for other things. Next, we'll move on to something a little bit larger. This is going to be the Canon R6 with 24-105. So this is going to be a similar size if you had a Sony a7 IV or something like that. But just wanted to let you know with the Bellroy, this is kind of max. Like, I mean, you can't really put your sunglasses in there because it'll get squished. But that's kind of what it looked like, putting that big, large camera in there. And lastly, we have the Leica Q2, which is the same size as the Leica Q1, Q3, and this is kind of what it looks like. It's similar to the X-T5-ish, lots of room for that. So next up, we'll do a camera fit with the Orbitkey Urban Sling Plus. So as you can tell, this is almost like ridiculous. Like, it's just so much space that you can kind of throw in there, and it's got room for tons of other things. So yeah, this is kind of what it looks like with the Fujifilm. And when you move on to a little bit larger, this is the Fujifilm X-T5. And yeah, it takes up probably like maybe 30% of that room in that main compartment. And then when you're moving on over to the ZV-E1, you know, that's kind of like the Fujifilm X106. It's just tiny, and there's just so much space for other things, which is kind of cool. Now when we are moving over to the Nikon ZF, so Nikon ZF is a little bit larger, so even though it takes up a little bit more space at the bottom, but when you can tell, there's a lot of space at the top. So if you want to put something soft like gloves or anything like that, that's going to fit in there no problem. And then we're going to throw in the Canon R6 with 24-105. This is going to be one of your largest camera setups, and that's going to take up a lot of room in there. But again, there's room at the top, lots of room at the top for you to zip up and throw other things. So that's what that looks like. And then lastly, we have the Leica Q2, and that's what it looks like with that camera inside. And lastly, let's talk about the Toshi Sling. So yeah, Fujifilm X106 goes in there nicely. Lots of room at the top for you to kind of close the bag. Yeah, it fits in there very, very nicely. Next up, we got the X-T5. X-T5 will fit in there. No problem to close it. And again, lots of room on this one side. You could put another padded divider in there to create more space. And then we have the ZV-E1 Sony. Very, very small in there. And then we go to the Nikon ZF. It takes up a little bit more space, so we can go like this. But if you wanted to throw it on its side, let's see how it fits like on its side. So you could also do it on its side as well. Does it close? Yep, it will close if you put it on its side. And then we put on the big 24-105 Canon, and that will fit in there no problem. Has no problem zipping up. And lastly, the Leica Q2. That's kind of what it looks like. So definitely the Bellroy Venture Sling was the smallest out of the bunch, just because when you put in that Canon in there, it barely closed it. I mean, you still could close it, but it was just pretty much at its max. Whereas, you know, with this bag, you put that camera in there and you still got a little bit of room. So let's wrap this video up. You're wondering which bag you should buy. Well, for the budget conscience, the Toshi Sling 5-lever is definitely the best bang for the buck. Now, comparing these two bags, the Bellroy Venture Sling is definitely the most expensive at $129. This one's $110. But even if they were the same price, I would still go with the Orbitkey. And the reason is just because it has so many more organizational elements to it. I feel like if I was going to be traveling or going traveling on a flight and I had to bring my personal item with me, I feel like just this one, you get to cram so much into it. and I feel like this bag would be the one I would be gravitating to most. Second would be the Toshi Sling, and last would be the Bellroy. There's nothing wrong with the Bellroy. The Bellroy is great. I just feel like these two bags just have more with it. Despite not having that padded bottom, I'm fine with that though. Anyways, I hope this video has helped you make an informed decision about which bag is gonna be right for you. Everyone's gonna be different. But if you did like this video, please like and subscribe, and definitely don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Desy31.